Man, am I just a little bit tired of having to do this day in and day out. Oh, this is my first year growing here in this high tunnel that we set up during the winter time. And we have things growing in here despite it still needing some finishing touches on it. But things are growing and I have to stay on top of things. And that includes watering. Whew. So since it's our first year and I'm still having to work on things, one of the things that I want to do, plan to do, is set up drip irrigation so I don't have to do this each day in here. And we recently got our drip irrigation, so I'm going to be setting that up today. But we've used drip irrigation in the past at various points, but for the most part right now we've been irrigating our garden with overhead mini wobblers that have worked great, but I'm gradually trying to go more and more to drip just to conserve water and to maximize the water that we are using. So I'm gonna get finished in here and then we're gonna start setting that up. Alrighty, so I ordered two different sets of irrigation systems that we're going to be using. One we're going to use for the greenhouse where the plants are planted tighter and the area, the work area is just tighter. So we're going to have the tube type irrigation going, drip irrigation going in there. And then the high tunnel that I was just watering in, we're going with the drip tape. So we just got to figure out which one of these is which. So let's see here. Alrighty. Alrighty, so this looks like our drip tape here. It's made by Toro. We got this, we ordered both systems from DripWorks. Let's see here, is this what I think it is? Ugh. Yes, it is. Our drip tape. So this is like our main line and then the drip tape connects to that. Keep that together. And some more of it. So now let's see what's in here. Okay, and we have our another main line, and then I wonder if this, oh, and then here's the drip tubing here. I don't know the exact word for it. Actually, yep, it is called tubing. So this is the drip tubing here, and is there more of it in here? Let's see. All right, this may be our timers. Let's see. Nope, this is more of the tubing. Perfect. Because I was thinking, this is it. This is nowhere near enough, but this is what I'm looking for right here. Big roll of it. Fantastic. And then we have the timers tucked in conveniently in the corner. So we're gonna be using one timer for here and one timer for here. But we're not gonna work on this system quite yet. We're gonna work on setting up the tubing. Nope, not the tubing. The tape. The drip tape. And these two. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is lay out our main line here. Go ahead and cut this off there. There we go. So, some of you may be wondering, why do I have these cones here? Well, these cones are basically caution for where we had our rows planted and where we do have them planted for our plants here. Just so, especially when they were small plants, so people wouldn't just be accidentally stepping on them. What do you mean? So this main line here, we're just going to stretch out. So it's going to start from over here is where we'll hook our line in, and then our different lines. And thankfully we have these pins right here. Probably now's a good time to start busting them out. So we'll hold them in place for us. And we're actually going to go on the outside of our high tunnel here. I want to grow some stuff out here too at some point. So we're not going to cut the line just yet. Next we need a few of these pieces right here. This is our filter, which we don't necessarily need right now because we're going to be piping in from the well. But eventually I'm going to be gathering rainwater from this high tunnel here. So this will be coming in handy then. But we're going to go ahead and hook it up now. And we'll need this pressure regulator right here. And this is very important because I didn't have this piece in the past, and too much pressure came into our drip line and it would just shoot the ends off of our drip tape. So definitely make sure we need that this time. And these pieces right here are the beginnings and ends of the main line. So we're going to be using some of these as well. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and set up our filter here, as well as our pressure valve and our timer, and connect it to our main line. So let's see here. See if I can figure this out. Actually just realized that I put the wrong end on this one. So this is actually the end and this is the beginning. So this has your female end on to connect to your hose. So I did make a mistake there. This is the end. So it should be on the other side. See if I can get it out now. And then put the right one in. The correct one in. So there we go there. So let's get on there pretty good. So let's see here. So this is our filter. It will just gather the debris and various things that come through the line. It's not a necessity to have it from our well water, which we're going to be doing first, connecting it with first. But later on, we're going to be connecting, we're going to be gathering and harvesting rainwater from the high tunnel here, and then we'll be using that to water the plants and time to come. Set our filter up to this, going into the main line, and I gotta try not to be Superman or the Incredible Hulk and putting that on there and ripping it up, because it doesn't have to be that tight. It's tight enough to not have a drip. Alrighty, and then we're gonna set our timer up here. So a neat little timer here. And I'll connect that to here. Tighten that right there. And then a pressure regulator, we'll put it on here. And that will be where our hose line goes into. We'll connect in there just like that. So what I'm going to do right now before we move on is I'm going to go ahead and connect the water to it just to see if we have any leaks at all before we move on. Just on this part of it. Nope. No leaks here, so that's great. And this is just a excess valve. We'll close that up. Looking good. That's pretty much where we want it to be for right now. So let's go ahead and see if we can spin that around there. Get that in there just like that. There we go. All right, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and put the other end on, the correct end this time, at the end of our main line there. Alright, so I am pulling over a little bit extra to play with, just in case we need to move some stuff around. But I still have a lot of work to do in this area to get some stuff growing in here. But I'm just thinking ahead of when I will need something. So just cut it right here, just like that. Put this in here. A little bit of muscle time again. Make sure it's loose. And then make it tight. Okay, now tight. And then we put the cap on it. Just like that. Okay, and then we can use the rest of that for another area. So next we're going to do our drip tape. We're going to actually put it down. And we're going to just do one strand of tape per row. That should be plenty for the tomatoes. Sometimes you could do two, but we're just going to do one. And right here we also have these pieces right here that connect these fittings here. We'll connect the tape to the main line there, and we'll be using this tool right here, this punch tool, to plug them in just like that. And then on the end of our drip tape, we have these fittings right here that kind of go on just like it did on the main line. These are the ends. But let's go ahead and run some tape. All right, Sailor, you help me out. Blue side of the tape goes up. All right, you stay here. I'm gonna run it down. Yep, just like that. And I'm gonna run just a little bit extra, just in case we need to make some adjustments for our where the emitters are of the water coming out of the line. So that gives us a little bit of flexibility there. So we'll just cut it about right there. Set that one down. And we'll do another one. Alrighty, and then there's regular scissors. Does the job, but these are even better than regular scissors. Alright, we're gonna do another line on the outside of the high tunnel for our squash that's growing out here. Alright. Next, we're going to connect them. So we're going to use our punch here to punch into our main line. Make sure I get the punch going in the right direction. Flip it over just like that. And then pop. See the water coming out. Push this in. A little muscle again. A little bit. Just like that. Push this. Slip it on. This is the one where I don't always get it tight, but right the first time around. But I think I may have gotten it this time. So with this tool, it just has this little thing there, a little knob, and that just punches the hole right through your tubing there. So just make sure you get that lined up with the direction that you want your hole to go, and then pop it in there. But with this tool, it really makes it easy to be able to punch holes right into this main tubing. And I'm gonna let my daughter Sailor here show you that she's gonna punch one in there. So we want our hole to run that way. We don't want it to hole up or that way or down the ground. We want it to kind of go the direction that we have our line going. So is your little knob coming out the direct spot? Yep. So try to line it up somewhat with the plants too. So over just a little bit more. That should be good. And then there, go ahead and squeeze it. Oops. Gotta make sure it's on there. Squeeze it. There you go. Lining it up. Make sure we're going in the right direction. It's like the blue handle's kind of going where you want it to go. And then Alright, next we'll put the ends on. Pretty simple, just like that. Just like that. Alrighty, so the next thing to do is to pin our line down right beside our plants, so that way they stay in the row and they're not way out here. We're not tripping over them and killing ourselves. So we're gonna pin those down. And look who's joined me. Look who's come at just the perfect time, because we got the tomatoes strung up here on tomahawks just the other day, but now we need to get our cucumbers strung up. And she's come at just the perfect timing to do that.
Yay!
Thanks so much.
That's my luck.
We've been married that long, you're reading my mind and you just start doing it.
Something like that.
Look at there, she's already started. I didn't even ask her to do it and she started doing it.
I guess it's all those years of training that you've had me in, right?
Train them up. Just kidding. She's probably got me trained.
We got a lot more years to go for that to happen.
Oh, laugh it up, laugh it up. Well, Sayla, could you help Mommy with stringing these up while I pin the drip irrigation down?
Yes, sir.
So thanks so much for helping me pull out that drip line. It's rolling. We're gonna be able to start watering these things like that.
So doing these is similar to the tomatoes, and I don't know if I've done cucumbers before. So this is, you know, I'm teaching you, but I'm also doing it for the first time. So I just take my string and just like the tomatoes, I just make a loose knot down here at the base around it. And essentially all you need is you just want to provide support for your vining plant. So I'm not making it super tight. Then I'm coming in here and just wrapping it in. Hold on, let me wind this up some so I don't get tangled up in the string. So I'm just winding it around. Careful not to knock the flowers off or the fruit, but just providing support for it, just like that, so it has a place to grow. Then take this up here, hang it up, and then tighten it up. Well, that one won't go that far, so I'll just wrap it around there, and then ta-da!
So as I'm going, I'm just doing a little bit of weeding, but not having to do a ton. The leaf mulch that we put down is helping out with suppressing the weeds, and it also does help with keeping the water in the soil as well. But still have to do a little bit of weeding. There's no such thing as a no weed garden or a 100% weed-free garden. So as I'm putting the drip tape down, whoops, I'm just putting it right near our plants there, so that way the water will emit and come around and water the roots around it. All right, get some of that in there. This is coming up. So this is the weeds that we pulled up as I was putting down the drip tape. So we'll either put this in the compost or give it to the chickens. I've been doing a kind of a combination of the two, but either way it goes back into the soil, into the compost. But we're gonna give this to the chickens. There you go. Eat it up. Whew. It's getting pretty hot out here, isn't it? And in here, even hotter in here.
It's getting a lot not hot.
It's gonna be in the 90s today. This is our first time, I think, in the 90s this year, so it's gonna be pretty warm. It's kind of somewhat hard to think back that less than a month ago now, it was super cold and we were out here trying to keep everything in here alive. And
I think it was almost exactly a month whenever we were out here at 3 o'clock in the morning building fires.
yeah, it was pretty cold that morning. Opposite of this, which is getting to be pretty hot. And I got a sweat going. I don't know about you. Got a little sweat
It's
going.
burning my eyes.
I could be happy to get the water hose and spray you off if you want me to, if you need to cool down.
Thank you.
You want to get sprayed off?
Not right now, maybe later.
Man. Well, it's looking good over here.
Thanks.
It's just about done with this row, right?
Yes, I think I have.
There we go.
2 more right here, and then I'm gonna take a water break.
I must say, I am pleased with the progress we are making. So far, this is the best that we have done with growing tomatoes and cucumbers. We have this section here in the high tunnel, and then we have the other area in the greenhouse. And we've grown them before, and but it just hasn't been as sharp and as crisp as we're doing right now. I know it's still not as good as some of the other big time market gardeners like JM4TA or Curtis Stone or some others, but we're making progress each year. That's the goal, to make progress each year. And maybe you think yours isn't as nice as what we have here. But hey, wherever you are, just continue to make progress year by year. Don't get down about where you are, but just continue to make progress. Do what you can in the situation and state and all the skills that you have. But each year, try to make progress and do better and go from there. That's what I'm trying to do. So super excited. We got the drip tape down, and we'll test it and see if it works. So I watered, but I didn't do a thorough watering just a few minutes ago. Actually, it was a few minutes ago. It was actually a couple hours ago. I know it seems pretty quick when you're watching it here on YouTube land, but probably been like at least 2 hours or so that we've been out here working, when weeding the garden and just tightening things up and putting down the drip tape. But hey, we got it going. Let's see if it's really going and flowing. Actually, before we are able to test out our drip lines, we first need to do this last row of cucumbers, stringing them up on our tomahawks here. So we weren't able to do that quite yet, but we're gonna do it right now.
Just in time. Thank you so much. Well, Mike and I strung all these tomatoes up the other day with the tomahawks, and we used the ladder, and it was up, down, and then with the cucumbers over there, it was kind of the same way, a lot of squatting, a lot of kneeling, and up and down. So this time, I've gotten tired of squatting. So I brought my stool out here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna tie the tomahawk onto the bottom and wrap it around, and then I'm going to come back and hang it up so I don't have to go a lot of back and forth, up and down.
So you're done with getting all those squats in? Ready to take it a little easier?
Yes, I've gotten my squats in for today, so I'm just going to help myself out.
Well, that's probably close to 50 squats that you got in on the cucumbers, so. Alrighty, so Lacey's making progress there. She's a little more than halfway down this row, so I'm gonna go ahead and start putting our pins in for the drip tape. And I don't have a little comfy stool to sit on, but that's okay.
What'd you say? Huh?
I'll get my squats in too. That's one of the things when you're out here, call it farm fit, you're just doing the things that you have to do. You're just living life. And that's how people used to do it back in the day. They didn't have to go to a gym to get their exercise in. They just did life, and they were active and moving. So many people think they need to get on this certain fitness program to get in shape. Most people just need to, frankly, move more.
Here you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so our last area is set up with the drip tape. We got the cucumbers strung up on the tomahawks and the drip tape installed. And Sally even decided to plant rosemary right here in the row that we have our squash in. It needed to be planted anyway. She gave her an opportunity to use the drill and the auger that we recently got, so pretty excited about that. But now it's time to hit the switch and see if our irrigation is set up correctly, because I'm super excited. So if we get this set up, then I don't have to come through and water by hand each day. So let's see. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but I can hear it. I can hear the water shooting in different areas. Let's just walk around and examine. A little drip here, a little drip there. There's one there. See that little drip coming out? That's what we want to see. Right off the bat, I don't see any major leaks. Let's check on the end, because that can be where some leaks will be if the water just come through and my caps and ends aren't on correctly. It just shoot right out of there. No leak there. No leak there. No leak there. Looking good so far. We just gotta wait. I see some water dripping out of there. Oh, there's a spot where the water's coming out. Good. Need to see more of that. Just gonna give it a few minutes and just kind of inspect again. Oh, we do have a problem right here. See that water shooting out there like that? That should not be happening. So I'm gonna go ahead and fold this and try to tighten it up. All right, so we got this other one here. This one leaking here. So one thing you wanna make sure you do is you get a straight, even cut on here. Make sure you cut them even. That way it kind of goes on there flush. That one was at an angle before, so we're gonna roll it all the way up so that way we can get it on. Let's push it in all the way and then tighten it up. And I may put some plumbing cement on if we're still having issues, but let's just see. Still a little bit, but we'll fold it. It's just a little bit of a drip, so we'll put that little bit of a drip for now right here at our plant. It's not bad, it's not gushing out like it was. Here we go. So it's been about 30 minutes or so since I started our irrigation here, and things are going smoothly since I made the tighten up a few things here and there and made a couple adjustments. Things are going well, as you can see here. Look here, the water lines are just dripping down and watering around our tomato plants. It's working pretty smoothly, just slowly dripping out. With that slow drip, it just causes the watering to penetrate the soil and just go down deeper and water the roots, and not just so much the surface watering like I was doing earlier, but the drip actually allows the water to go deep in there. And while our drip's going here, I need to go over to the caterpillar tunnel and water everything in there, because it's just right at 90 degrees right now, and it's only going to get hotter. So I want to make sure those items in there don't burn up, especially our lettuce. They need to get water. Need to keep the leaves cool, because it is hotter in the plastic, under the plastic, than it is even outside of here in the open air. So I got to get those watered, and then I don't know when I'm going to set the drip up in there, because it's going to be pretty hot. We'll just have to see here. Oh man, I'm not looking forward to going in here. Boy, it's hot in here. It's like a wave of heat just hits you as you come in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and water. Let's have a little bit of breeze, so thankfully the wind's kicked up a little bit. That's gonna help me out with managing being in here, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this watered. But the tomatoes keep getting bigger and bigger in here. That's exciting to see. They're doing very well. Our strawberries were doing excellent. They were even doing better than our ones outside here. But because we haven't been able to keep them watered regularly, they just haven't been producing as much fruit. But at the start of it, these were producing fruit before the one outside. But I know they're gonna be looking forward to me setting up the drip tubing here. And the tomatoes will as well, even though they can handle more stress than the other things, especially the lettuce right here. So we definitely want to get these leaves watered. Need to harvest this lettuce, but right now it's too hot on me, and it'll make it wilty. But it's gonna get everything cooled off right now. Give it a cool bath. And I must say that cold water running on me feels pretty good. I know Lacie didn't want to be water sprayed off it, but like I do right now. I might have to hit this. I'll spray it on my head right after this. All right, lunch break, hydrate break, whoo, break from the heat. Definitely feels good in here. I'm so glad we have the mini split system this year, so hopefully they run smoothly for us this summer, because it is a break from the heat out there. Well, right now we're enjoying lunch. I'm having some farm fresh eggs from this farm, some curry that I sprinkled on top. I like to put curry on so many different things, as well as some molasses I have on top of there as well. And drinking some real milk, as Weston A. Price calls it, from my Homesteading Life Conference mug just right here. So just a couple more months and we'll plan to be there for that conference. And you're eating something pretty interesting. It looks yummy actually to me. Every time you eat that, it looks yummy.
Meat and butter and salt.
So she's continuing on with her carnivore diet, and I've been noticing some differences in you. Big time. It's only been, what, a week?
Hadn't even been a week yet.
So you've already lost, what, 5 pounds you said?
5 pounds, yeah.
And what else, what other changes are you noticing?
Well, I haven't been bloated. I am experiencing some of the, you know, keto flu kind of stuff, detoxing, but I see more positives than negatives out of this, so I'm just going to keep on going.
Watching her go through this reminds me of when I had to do my bodybuilding competition prep diet, and we were just making a whole bunch of food, and it was so protein focused, and it was just like cooking these big meals. And people always thought that I was starving myself when I was going through that, and in fact I was actually eating a lot more than most people eat.
Yes.
It's just it's not all just about calories. Some people just have it in their mind that it's calories, that if you have a calorie deficit that it's automatic that you're gonna lose weight, and that is not true.
No.
We've both been on all kind of diets, but we're trying this one out and see how it works for you. It's the first time doing carnivore, right?
It is my first time doing carnivore. I've been thinking about it for a while. My brother has been on it for like 5 months now, and it's really worked. A lot of positives for him.
He's lost like what, 60 pounds or more?
Something
Man,
like
he's done fantastic.
Yeah, and he's having his blood work done and talking with his doctor and all that, and I think the doctor is pretty impressed with it, to be totally honest. And I'm working with someone that coaches through carnivore, so I'm just trying to stay on track.
All right, we're gonna enjoy our lunch and then hopefully it'll cool down so we can start working outside again. But yeah, time to enjoy.
Had a clue, now I got a feeling. Just gotta hold on tight. Tonight, tonight.